Hi, this is Reverend Ken Wilcox with the Center for Spiritual Living, St. Augustine. Normally when I arrive at the building to give one of my talks, it's alive with people setting up for the service, choir practicing, people organizing the hospitality, and practitioners getting ready to do their treatment work. Today, not so much. We're all being asked to step up to life as this challenge confronts us. And we're doing our part. We're grateful that you're doing yours and supporting us through this challenge. Your support is vital. You can text a donation to us and mail a donation to us. Information is posted below on how to do either of those. You know, when you show up here on Sunday, I always ask you to do one simple thing, and that is to leave all your troubles, your would-haves, your could-haves, your should-haves, to leave all that stuff outside, and for the next 45 minutes or so, to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more healings, more blessings, more courage, and more compassion. All those things that make us feel alive. For this is what Spirit is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. So know you're in a good place today. Your time with us will be well spent, and you will leave this video feeling healed and blessed and prospered in some significant way. God bless. Welcome home. Hello, this is Reverend Ken Wilcox, the Center for Spiritual Living in St. Augustine. Thank you for joining us today. To get our service started, I'm going to do a reading and opening meditation. My reading, I'm using the Creative Thought magazine, which used to be the magazine that our national organization published. And the reading is by Reverend Taggart from East Hawaii. She quotes Dr. Holmes, "We are at liberty to choose what manner of life we shall live. We shall feel that it is this choice which we are backed by all the will, all the purpose, and all the law in the universe." And in her meditation, she wrote, "God, the originer of all, is the principle that moves out into my world through me, according to my thoughts and feelings. I recognize this principle as spirit within me. I know it is infinite intelligence. Therefore, I choose to let go of any doubt or fear. I realize that negative thoughts and feelings could keep me from being all that I desire to be." And now, if you will, join me in this meditation. I know there is only one God, one mind, one Creator. This Creator is perfect love, it's divine intelligence. So here today, I now make a promise to myself that I will release all ideas of lack, limitation, fear, and doubt. Here today, I will speak the truth for myself, that I am one with God, that God is powerful, good, glorious, and that this power is flowing through me, with me, and for me. And today, I can relax in this powerful knowing for myself. So let us now spend a few moments in silence, allowing the power of Spirit to speak through our hearts and our souls. These words have now become alive in my consciousness. They are magnetizing every good of the universe to rush to me. So today, I'm able to relax into the love, the care, and the comfort that is my birthright, and it is Spirit showing up in me, for me, and as me. This is my truth. I celebrate. I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is.
Look for the helpers. As Fox 5's Christine Medella shows us, when you do, you'll see things like this.
One effect of the novel coronavirus is fear. But sometimes when times feel as if they're at their worst, we can see hope through the actions of others. In Italy, neighbors shuttered in their homes, broke out into a round of applause from their balconies and a show of gratitude for the doctors and nurses caring for the sick. NBA star Steph Curry and his wife Ayesha are helping to raise money to buy 1 million meals for children in California who may not have access to lunch anymore because of those school closures.
We want to make sure that we rally around everyone and ensure that these kids are not wondering where their next meal is coming from.
Local communities are asking people to buy gift certificates and vouchers to their favorite restaurants to keep revenue coming in as fewer people are choosing to dine out. A woman in Oregon tweeted about an elderly couple too afraid to go in a grocery store, so she went in instead to get their food. Her tweet has been shared more than 100,000 times.
It's a difficult time. People are really scared. There's a lot of nerves. I see it in schools and grocery stores and other places around the community that I live in. But kindness helps.
Christine Medella, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
My talk today is Keep Calm and Carry On. Many of you history buffs out there will recognize this from a World War II poster that the British developed and had planned to use if the very worst scenario happened to them. And the worst thing that they had imagined during World War II was the Nazi invasion of their island. So they had come up with what they knew was a very powerful slogan for the British people: keep calm and carry on. Now, it's a good metaphor of where we are, because what they were doing is they were planning for the worst, even though the worst did not show up. That's often the case in our lives. But it's not a bad idea to do smart and sensible preparation. Now, another thing they did to prepare for the worst was that they created a bunker for the leaders of their government. It was just around the corner from Parliament. They did it in total secrecy. No one knew what was happening. And deep in the earth, they built a bunker that could not be destroyed. It was topped with steel and cement. And what they were doing is they were making a determination that the better idea about themselves was going to survive. Now, the bunker was forgotten after the war. It was not rediscovered until the 70s. The same thing happened to the poster. It was forgotten as well and rediscovered in the 60s. It has since become the iconic poster for that period. Now, energetically, what they were doing, the leaders of the British government at that time, they were making the determination that the best idea of themselves was going to stay alive. So they took the leadership and they put it in a safe place where they knew that it would survive. They took the best idea about themselves, buried it deep in consciousness so that they knew that it would be able to survive whatever came their way. Now, the idea that embodied that principle at that time was their Prime Minister, Winston Churchill. And he hated the idea of the bunker. He refused totally to stay in it. In fact, they had to really, his Secret Service and the people that protected him had to really struggle with him to get him in the bunker at all, even during the worst of the raids, the nightly raids that the Germans were sending over. In fact, what he most liked to do during the raids was to go up to the rooftops and to see the German bombers coming over. Also at that time, the military was using anti-aircraft guns firing at the German bombers. And they knew that the success rate for these guns was very, very small. They came to Churchill and they asked him, they said, do we want to continue doing this? It's really just a waste of the dynamite that we might desperately need later. And he told them, he says, no. He says, it's important for our people to know that we're doing something, that we've made a marker in the sand this far and no further. That's a different statement of energy. What he was doing is he was laying down and saying, this is what I'm willing to put up with, this far and no further. Now, many of us are being called to do the same things, particularly people who believe in spirit and believe in the power of prayer. You know, this week we got a very sobering report about the potential death rate for this virus. People are asking, how serious is the virus? Is it as serious as 9/11? Is it as serious as World War II? And my thoughts, it is indeed as serious as World War II. It's not a time for us to indulge in fear or worry. People play with fear and worry, but there comes a point when life is so serious that we have to put away those toys of our spiritual adolescence. I think it was St. Paul that wrote, when I was a child, I played with childish things. Now that I'm an adult, I have to step up and be the spiritual adult God has called me to be. And it is time for us to step up, to be the spiritual adults, to step into our power, and to become a community of prayerful people. This is the antidote at this time. I know our wonderful researchers are working on a vaccine, and we want to bless them, pray for them, give them courage and strength. But the antidote that we can develop as a prayerful community is to engage in prayer and to know something better for ourselves, each other, our community, our nation, and the world. To declare and decree something better, not as victims, not as wounded, but as children of the Most High. So I would encourage you in the coming days and weeks to set a time for yourself when you can spend in quiet and you can get yourself centered. And then in that place, see yourself creating a vibration, a beam of light, if you will, just like the beam of light that our lighthouse on the shore sends out to the boats in the darkness, sending out a beam of clarity, of hope, of healing, of encouragement, of love and compassion, and sending that light from your heart and soul. See the positive energy of the universe flowing through you. And as it flows through you, it expands in your heart and soul, allowing you to release it in even a greater way. And this is a very empowering thing that we can do for ourselves, because these positive energies, as we allow them to come into our bodies, our consciousness, they empower us. They come in with power and they restore our souls, and that way they will keep us healthy, they keep us young, they keep us vibrant, and they keep us interested. And by releasing them, we can become wonderful blessings to the world. When we contemplate the negative, when we allow ourselves to indulge in fear and doubt and worry, those powers, those energy streams, they have no energy of their own, so they're like energy vampires. They come in and they sap the energy from our system. They deplete our system. And in fact, they're very much like the virus itself. They're vampires of energy. They drain our system. They leave us more susceptible to the next virus that comes along. So we want to turn ourselves over to the consciousness of God, to become a beacon of love and hope and inspiration. It will leave us empowered. It will leave us joyful. It will leave us healthy and whole. Now, some people will say, well, I just don't feel it. Well, just for a moment, try to shut down your head for a bit and allow your heart to speak through you. Your heart will whisper the truth of your soul to you. We're in a sacred place where Spirit is calling humanity to step up. And the veil between the seen and the unseen is getting very still. I always love, there's a line from a Christian song that says, in the stillness of the midnight, sacred secrets will unfold. We are in that time, that stillness of the midnight, where sacred secrets are being unfolded. And those secrets are Spirit telling you how needed you are, how valued you are, how important you are, and what a needed and necessary role you can play here, now. You're called by name, by God from stardust, and you have something wondrous to create. A mighty work in God is your heart and soul. Now, to have the strength to get through this challenge, we can't allow ourselves to get wrapped up in all the daily drama. The news media has turned this crisis into entertainment. We want to stay informed, but please don't allow yourself to drown in information. Look for the good news. Look for ways that you can encourage and support. This past week, we got an emergency call from the Betty Griffin House. We support the Betty Griffin House. It's a place where battered families can go to escape violence. And they're in desperate need right now. So we gave them a check for $1,500 from our Elizabeth Clare Fund because we want them to know, and we want those families to know that we are supporting them. Also this week, I reached out to the interfaith ministers, and I asked them, could we get an interfaith prayer service going, a virtual prayer service where we could pray for the healing of our nation, pray for the safety of our nation. And Rabbi Nadia, she's organizing that, and we hope to have that in a couple of weeks. I also asked that we begin to consider having a service of gratitude when our nation is through this crisis, for all the faith communities to come together and give gratitude for Spirit sustaining us through this crisis. Because, my friends, we are going to survive. We've had challenges like this before, and this may be a mighty storm, but we are a mighty people, and we have a mighty God supporting us. So we're going to overcome this challenge. And it's important for us to have a future vision of what our life will be when we're through this dark night. And it's important for you as well. Create a vision for yourself, something you can believe in, something you can see yourself having or doing or becoming, learning, sharing, and keep that vision of yourself. It's powerful for you to do. A new wave of light is coming into our world, and it's up to us to work with it. Now's the time to give up our excuses, to step into our power, to see ourselves as God sees us, not as weak and wounded, but powerful light workers on the cutting edge of God's creation. Divine intelligence is the only power in the universe. So during this time, send prayers of love and support to those who are suffering from the virus. Send courage and hope to those who are caring for them. Send gratitude for the doctors and the nurses and the researchers who are working around the clock for a vaccine. Send prayers for the workers who are doing the work that's necessary to keep our society going. The firefighters, the firemen, and also the people who are maintaining the grocery stores, the checkout people, and the suppliers who are restocking. Send prayers for those who are isolated and are living alone. Our world today is drowning in unconscious fears, and we've made ourselves into automatons of dread. And too many of us are feeding this storm of fear like the warm waters of the Caribbean would feed a hurricane. But no matter how strong the storm is, a persistent jet stream and the cooling waters of the Atlantic can calm even the most frightening of storms. Conscious thoughts of healing and compassion are like those cooling waters. They can drain the energy from this tsunami of fear, and love can penetrate this fog of confusion like the breaking dawn breaks through the dark night. A new day is coming. We were created from a divine intelligence and nothing else. So there's a way for us to live and cope intelligently. There's an intelligent way for us to handle this virus, and we will be the stronger for it. Our bodies will be stronger, we'll be smarter, and we will know how to get through future events like this even better, with more ease and quicker and smarter. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that every disaster, given enough time, will seem like it was in its proper place. So indeed, even this disaster will bring some good if we choose to work with that good. One of the things that I believe is happening from this crisis is it's keeping us isolated so that in the future we are going to value human interaction much more than we previously had. And believe it or not, I think many of us are going to turn away from our devices. We'll have used them so much in this crisis that a cell phone is not going to be that interesting when we can actually sit down and have dinner with a friend. My 7-year-old nephew, he's of course alone with his mom and dad, and he's getting quite bored. And so in the afternoon, he has a play date with a friend, and the play date is on either side of the road. They get to play with their own toys and yell encouragement out to one another. Rabbi Fred told me about his grandson. He lives out in San Francisco, and they have had a virtual cocktail party. I think this virus is also going to remind us how important people are in our lives, and that things aren't that important. Things without people don't yield very much enjoyment. It's when we have things with people we love that we really get to enjoy them. That's when they have value. Now, we are not going through an evolutionary process. We are growing through an evolutionary process. Many of us are waiting to hear the voice of God in this challenging time. We've waited long enough to hear the voice of God. We have to become the voice of God. And the voice of Spirit is calling out to us that we can step up, that we can be that source for love and hope and joy and encouragement, that we can be God's blessing. The challenge for us is really an opportunity for us to see ourselves as God sees us, for us to choose the sort of life that we want to experience, the sort of world and the sort of nation. And these energies that are flowing through us are giving us the opportunity for more growth. They're going to help us to awaken to who we really are, and that we can tap into Spirit's greatest possibilities for ourselves. This is the challenge that we confront. And I want to tell you, dear friends, that we're up to it. We can handle this challenge. And when we do, we will be better for it. We will step into that greater knowing. We will step into our true selves, and we will see ourselves for who we really are and whose we really are. We are children of the Most High. We haven't come to be victims. We're here to be victors. We're here to step up and to know the great power that's calling us forth, to know that we are one with God. If God is good, it is flowing through us, it is flowing for us, and it is flowing with us. This is the truth in your life this morning. This is the truth in mine, and so it is.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are
God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of
are
God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
روح خدایی.
You are the
You
face of
are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of God.
Join with me now with this final prayer. I'm going to do it in the first person. Take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tightly to it. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let it slide by. But just know this truth with me today. There is only one God, one mind, one power. That power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. And that power is flowing through me, with me, and for me. And that power can easily resolve every challenge that's before me. So here today in this sacred place, I now choose to see myself as powerful, as good. I choose to see myself as a conduit for God's power. And I see that power flowing through me and flowing out from me to all those who may be sick and healing. I see this power flowing out to the doctors, to the nurses, to the people doing research. I see this power flowing out to all the people who are working and putting their lives in danger so that our society can keep moving forward, to the policemen, the fire workers, to the ambulance drivers, and to the people who are restocking the grocery stores. I allow this power and goodness of God to flow from me and allow it to go out to my neighbors who I know some are alone and dealing with the burden of being alone. I see them accepting the idea that Spirit is with them, that they're one with God. And in this sacred place and in this sacred time, I choose to see my world unfolding with love and compassion. I choose to see my community strong and dynamic and bold. I choose to see my nation as one people, pulling together, knowing that they are stronger united. I know the power of God is flowing through me, and I know the power of God is calling to us, that we can be more than we thought we could be, stronger, bolder, loving, more compassionate and kind. This is the voice of Spirit, and this day I'm saying yes to it. It's my truth. I celebrate it. I rejoice in this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God. Do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is.